There comes a time in life when things start to quiet down. The world keeps spinning, yes, but the rush? It slows, the noise fades a little, and suddenly there's space. Space to breathe, to think, to remember, and to just be. I used to think peace was something you had to go far away to find, maybe on a quiet beach or up in the mountains. But now I understand. Peace isn't a place. It's a way of being. It's something we grow into slowly with time and intention. It's not about doing more. It's about becoming more present, more open, more at ease with ourselves. If you're listening to this, maybe you felt that too. That quiet tug inside, asking for something gentler, something simpler. That's what this is about. In this episode, I want to share with you 7 gentle habits that have helped me find more peace as I've grown older. These aren't grand or dramatic, but they've made all the difference in my daily life. And maybe, just maybe, 1 or 2 will speak to you the way they did to me. So, let's take this time together. No rush, no pressure, just a quiet conversation between you and me. 1. Begin the day in silence. Mornings used to be noisy for me. I'd wake up and flip on the news, or reach for the phone, or let the to-do list start spinning in my mind before my feet even touched the floor. I thought I had to jump into the day head first, or it would leave me behind. But somewhere along the way, after enough mornings filled with more noise than meaning, I tried something different. I didn't plan it. It just sort of happened one morning. I got up, made a cup of coffee, and instead of turning anything on, I just sat. No background noise, no agenda, just me and the morning. And something shifted. There was a stillness in that moment that felt sacred. The hum of the refrigerator, the soft creak of the house settling, the sound of my own breath. It was like the world was saying, slow down. You're still here. You're allowed to just be. Now I begin almost every day like that. A quiet corner, a warm drink, no distractions, just the early light and a few moments to check in with myself. I don't call it meditation. I've never been one for labels. I just think of it as giving the day a soft beginning instead of a hard start. In that silence, I notice things. I notice how my body feels if I'm tired or tense or peaceful. I notice my thoughts, sometimes worried, sometimes grateful. And I don't judge any of it. I just listen. Starting the day this way changes everything. It sets the tone. When I begin in peace, I carry that peace into whatever comes next. Whether it's a trip to the grocery store or a phone call from my son, or just sitting on the porch watching the neighborhood go by. If you've never tried it, I gently suggest giving it a shot. Just 5 minutes of quiet. No screens, no noise, no multitasking. You might be surprised by how loud the silence feels at first, and then how comforting it becomes. Over time, I've come to believe this. The way we start our day tells the rest of the day how to treat us. If we start with chaos, we invite more of it in. But if we start with calm, the world begins to meet us there. And I think that's something we all deserve, a peaceful beginning, no matter what age we are. Say no without guilt. One of the hardest things I had to learn as I got older was how to say no, and mean it, without feeling guilty. When I was younger, I said yes to everything. Yes to extra shifts at work. Yes to driving someone across town when I didn't have the energy. Yes to things I didn't want to do just to keep the peace. I thought being agreeable was the same as being kind, but there's a cost to constant agreement. After a while, you stop hearing your own voice. You stop knowing what you want because you've spent so long prioritizing what everyone else needs. Now that I'm older, time feels different. I feel it more. It's more precious, more limited. And that's not something to fear. It's something to respect. I remember one week, not too long ago. My daughter asked if I could help out with the grandkids for 3 straight days. I adore those kids. Their energy, their curiosity, the way they light up when they see me. But 3 full days? I knew it would exhaust me. So I took a breath, and I said, "Sweetheart, I'd love to help, but I can only manage 1 day this week, not 3. She paused, then smiled and said, "Thanks for being honest, Dad." That moment meant a lot. It reminded me that boundaries, when set with love, don't push people away. They teach people how to love us better. Saying no has become a quiet form of self-respect for me. I don't say it harshly. I don't use it to shut people out, but I do use it to protect my energy, my peace, and my time. If I'm too tired to go out, I say no. If I'm not in the right headspace to talk, I say no. If something feels off in my gut, I trust that, and I say no. It doesn't make me selfish. It makes me honest, and with honesty comes peace. If you've struggled with this, I understand. Saying no is uncomfortable at first. It feels like you're letting people down. But over time, you'll realize the only person you were really letting down before was yourself. Start small, 1 no at a time, and always say it with kindness. The people who love you will understand, and the ones who don't probably weren't listening to your heart anyway. 3. Call a friend without a reason. Friendship looks different as we get older. When we're young, it's loud and busy, full of plans and gatherings and late nights, talking about everything and nothing. But over time, life starts to scatter us. People move, families grow, health changes, schedules tighten. And those easy connections become harder to keep. For a while, I let friendships fade, not on purpose. I just figured, if they need me, they'll call. But weeks turned into months, and one day I realized I missed people. I missed the laughter, the inside jokes, the comfort of talking to someone who's known me longer than I've known myself. So I made a new habit. Every Sunday afternoon, I pick up the phone and call someone. No agenda, no big reason. Just, "Hey, I was thinking of you. How are you?" Sometimes we talk for 10 minutes, sometimes an hour. Sometimes we don't talk much at all. We just listen. But every time after I hang up, I feel fuller, grounded, reconnected. There's something powerful about reaching out without needing anything. It's like saying, "You still matter to me, even if life has been busy, even if we haven't talked in a while." And you know what? People are always happy to hear from you. They really are. Even if they don't say it outright, you can hear it in their voice. That little lift, that soft smile between the words. You don't have to wait for a holiday, or a birthday, or bad news. Friendship doesn't need a reason. It just needs a moment. If you're not sure who to call, start with someone who made you laugh once, or someone who crossed your mind recently, or even someone you haven't talked to in years. You don't need a script, just your voice, and a little bit of courage. Reaching out might feel awkward at first, but connection is like a muscle. It strengthens with use. We're not meant to go through this life alone, and while solitude has its place, so does companionship. Even if it's just a few minutes on the phone, that simple act of calling someone without a reason can bring more peace than you'd expect. 4. Tend to the body like it's an old friend. When I was younger, I treated my body like it was just a tool, something to push through tiredness, to ignore when it hurt, to expect results from without much thought. I worked long hours, skipped meals, lifted heavy things I shouldn't have, and told myself, I'll rest later. But later doesn't always come the way we think it will. Somewhere around my mid-60s, I started feeling it. The stiffness in my knees in the morning, the soreness in my back after simple chores. And at first, I was frustrated. I thought, why can't I do what I used to do? I was angry with my body for aging. But then I realized something that changed my perspective completely. This body, the one I live in right now, has been with me every step of the way. It's carried me through decades of work, through raising a family, through joy and grief, and long walks and warm embraces. It has been my companion through it all. And maybe it deserves a little more kindness from me now. So I began treating my body like an old friend. I listen when it speaks. If it says it's tired, I let it rest. If it feels stiff, I stretch it gently. If it needs movement, I take a walk, even if it's just to the mailbox and back. I don't punish it anymore for not being what it once was. I thank it for what it still is, able, responsive, and wise in its own way. These days, I move slower, but I move with more care. I eat better, not because I'm chasing health goals, but because I know how food makes me feel. I take my time. I breathe more deeply. And when I sit down in the evening, I place a hand on my chest and just appreciate being alive in this skin. Right here, right now. There's something deeply peaceful about that. About no longer battling your body, but befriending it, accepting it. We don't have to run marathons. We don't have to look like we did at 40. We just have to honor the body that's carried us this far. It's not about youth anymore. It's about presence, respect, gentleness. So if your body aches a little today, try talking to it with the same compassion you'd offer someone you love. It might just respond with more grace than you expect. 5. Let go of what no longer serves. There's a drawer in my bedroom filled with old letters, photos, and memories. Some of them make me smile. Some bring a tightness to my chest, and others, I'm not quite sure why I've kept them at all. One afternoon, not long ago, I sat down and opened that drawer. I read through every letter, every torn corner of a photo, every old receipt tucked away from decades ago. And I realized something. Some of these things were weighing me down. Not because they were bad, but because I was holding on to them out of habit, not healing. We carry so much through life. Old arguments, guilt we never voiced, regret over words we did or didn't say, pain we never gave ourselves permission to feel fully, let alone release. But the truth is, not everything we carry still belongs to us. Some of it is long expired. Some of it was never really ours to hold. That day, I burned 3 letters. They weren't dramatic or cruel, just remnants of a version of myself I had outgrown. And as the paper curled into ash, I felt something unexpected. Peace. A quiet kind of peace that comes not from forgetting, but from finally letting go. Letting go isn't about pretending something didn't happen. It's not about denying pain or rewriting the past. It's about deciding, here and now, that you're ready to stop reliving it. I'm learning, still learning, to let go of things that no longer serve the person I am today. That includes old stories I tell myself about who I should have been. That includes friendships that faded and don't need to be forced. That includes expectations from a younger version of me who didn't know what I know now. It's not always easy. Some things cling tightly, but each time I let go, I make room for something lighter, something better, sometimes just space to breathe. If you're carrying something heavy today, something you've carried for years, ask yourself gently, is this still serving me? Or is it simply familiar? And if the answer is no, maybe it's time to put it down. There's a freedom in release, and peace loves to live in open hands, not clenched fists. 6. Find meaning in small moments. I used to think that life's meaning came from big things, milestones, accomplishments, celebrations. Getting the promotion, paying off the house, watching the kids graduate. Those moments felt like markers, proof that life was moving in the right direction. But now, at this stage of life, I've come to realize something else entirely. The real meaning isn't found in the big moments. It's hiding in the small ones. The other day, I watched my grandson struggle to tie his shoelaces. He fumbled, grunted, nearly gave up, and then, finally, got them right. He looked up at me with that quiet pride, and I smiled like it was the first time I'd seen someone accomplish something great. And maybe it was. Not because it was flashy or important to the world, but because it meant something in that quiet space between us. These are the kinds of moments I collect now. The warmth of the sun through the kitchen window while I wash dishes. The sound of a neighbor's laughter drifting through the screen door. The way the trees move when the wind shifts, like they're waving to me. I started keeping a little notebook by my chair. Nothing fancy, just a soft covered journal where each night before bed, I write down one thing from the day that made me feel alive. Just one. A bird landing on the fence. A call from a friend I hadn't heard from in months. The taste of strawberries that reminded me of my childhood summers. These things may seem small, insignificant even, but they're not. They're proof that the day had depth, that I paid attention, that I was present. So much of our peace comes from presence, from being awake enough to notice what's in front of us, not just what's ahead or what's behind. That's something I wish I'd learned sooner. I spent years rushing through days, always thinking the next moment would be more important than the one I was in. But now I know better. You don't need a big reason to feel grateful. You just need a moment where your heart softens and says, this matters. And when you learn to notice those moments, life becomes rich again. Not busy, not loud, just full. If you ever feel like the days are blending together, like they're too quiet or too slow, try this. Take a breath, look around, and ask yourself, what's here that I haven't noticed yet? What's quietly beautiful right now? Meaning doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers. And if we're paying attention, we'll hear it. 7. Be gentle with yourself. This one, it took me the longest to learn. I've always been my own hardest critic. Even after all these years, I still catch myself replaying old mistakes, second-guessing things I said decades ago, or feeling guilty for not being more, doing more, fixing more. I think many of us do that, especially when life starts to slow down and the silence gives our thoughts more room to echo. But somewhere along the way, I started asking myself, would I speak to someone I love the way I speak to myself? If my friend forgot something, I'd reassure them. If my child made a mistake, I'd say, it's okay, we all do. But if I forget something, or make a mistake, I scold myself like I should have known better. Like I should be better. That's not kindness. That's not wisdom. That's old conditioning we carry, thinking we have to earn rest, prove our worth, or apologize for simply being human. So now I try something different. I speak to myself as I would to someone I care about. Gently, with patience, with warmth. If I have a day where I feel tired or foggy, I don't call it lazy. I call it a signal, my body asking for softness. If I forget a name or misplace my glasses, I smile and say, it's all right. You're doing your best. Because I am. And so are you. Being gentle with yourself doesn't mean giving up or making excuses. It means allowing space for who you are right now without judgment. It means recognizing that growing older is not a failure of youth. It's a continuation of life, with its own beauty and weight and grace. There are days when I still slip. Days when I catch myself criticizing the way I walk, the way I sound, the pace I move. But more and more, I catch those moments quicker. I pause, take a breath, and remind myself, you've made it this far. That alone is something to honor. No one prepares us for the emotional work of aging. They talk about health and retirement, but not about the quiet battle we sometimes fight inside. The one where we try to stay useful, valued, remembered. But here's what I've come to believe. Your worth does not expire. Your presence matters, even in stillness, even in quiet, even when you're simply sitting on the porch, listening to the world go by. So, if you've been hard on yourself lately, I hope you'll remember this. Gentleness is not weakness. It's strength that's been softened by experience. It's wisdom that knows what really matters. And the more you offer it to yourself, the more peace will begin to grow. Create one small ritual that's just for you. As we get older, our days can sometimes blur together. The rhythm changes. The house gets quieter. The calendar isn't as full as it once was. That can feel freeing, or it can feel empty. Sometimes both in the same day. One thing that's helped me bring more meaning and stability into my life is having a simple ritual. Something small, something quiet, but something that's just for me. For me, it's tea at 3 o'clock. Every afternoon, I heat the kettle, choose a mug that fits just right in my hand, and sit by the window while the world slows down. No emails, no noise, just tea, steam rising, and the moment I give myself, without rushing through it. It's not about the tea, really. It's about having something dependable. A pause I can look forward to. A reminder that this time, my time, still matters. You don't need to make it fancy. Maybe for you, it's a walk around the block right before sunset. Maybe it's listening to a favorite song when you wake up. Maybe it's lighting a candle after dinner and just sitting with the stillness for 5 minutes. What matters is not what you do, but how you do it. With presence, with care, with intention. Rituals ground us. They remind us that we're still choosing how to live, even in the smallest of ways. They create rhythm, especially in days that feel a little unstructured. And most of all, they return us to ourselves, to something familiar, something comforting, something ours. In a world that often demands so much, having one thing that asks nothing of you and simply gives you peace is a gift worth keeping. If you don't have a ritual yet, maybe today is a good day to begin one. Small steps, gentle rhythms, and a little time carved out for no other reason than this. You deserve it. If you've made it this far, thank you, truly. I don't take your time or your presence for granted. Growing older isn't always easy, but it can be peaceful, if we choose it to be. These habits, simple as they are, have helped me live with more softness, more clarity, and more meaning. Maybe one of them spoke to something deep in you today. If it did, hold on to it. Let it take root. And remember, peace doesn't come all at once. It grows moment by moment, habit by habit. I'd love to hear which part resonated most with you. Share it in the comments if you'd like. Until next time, take care of yourself, gently, patiently, like someone worth taking care of, because you are.